Hi there guys, welcome back to another episode on Rancor Reptiles. And today I'm coming at you with another genetics talk. If you like these genetics talks, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, maybe even a suggestion for next video's topic, theme, maybe on another genetics talk or maybe another reptile you would like me to talk about. And today I've been on a roll with the recessives. I love recessives and ball pythons simply because they're harder to make, and oftentimes with the cutting edge, there's not a lot of them out in the market. Because of that, really the diversity and the different types of genes incorporated into these recessives are pretty low. It's pretty exciting for me because that just kind of lets me know that there is space to grow. If a particular recessive only has a couple of genes mixed into it available, that just lets me know that there's great room for growth. If you buy into that project and you're trying to get some genes into that animal, into this genetic project, you actually might be first. Justin Kabelka and a bunch of other great breeders out there all around the world have great numbers. However, cutting edge is cutting edge. Of course, it'll cost you a premium. However, there is space for you as well as the underdog, as the smaller breeder, as the boutique breeder that doesn't have hundreds of snakes. Maybe you have a very nice small quantity collection of maybe 12, 10, 5, 3 very high quality animals. And that's what breeding is all about, producing high quality animals, maintaining a high quality of standard for them as well. And this particular recessive, obviously it's in the title, you know what I'm going to be talking about, really hasn't had much mixed into it. Of course, this recessive gene has been out for a while, so other recessives, breeders have of course mixed other recessives into this project, so it's always nice to see that. However, just because they were able to hit the chance and make a double recessive animal doesn't mean that the genetics have been fully explored, right? And today we're going to be talking about the Tristripe. Tristripes are characterized by, don't be surprised here, the 3 stripes going down the animal's back. It is a very nice thick dorsal stripe that goes from the head almost most of the time all the way down to the tail. Of course, sometimes there's breaks depending on the animal's look. And it is 2 smaller pinstripe like lines run parallel to that nice big dorsal line. Thus the Tristripe, 3 stripes. You know, it's not a very creative name, however it fits the bill. This is a recessive gene, and it is not breaking new, it's not bleeding edge, it's been out on the market for a while. However, not a lot has been done with it, and today I really wanted to talk about it. It looks like this particular recessive doesn't get a lot of love, even though the look actually looks pretty badass. So let's get started here. Meat and potatoes of the video. This here is a Tristripe. This is a pretty good looking Tristripe as well. I really like the thick banding down the dorsal. I love that. That looks pretty darn good. The alien heads, the eyes of the alien heads get melted together to form those those parallel pinstripe lines running down the sides of the snake. Looks pretty darn cool. In this particular animal, the thick dorsal banding got broken up towards the tail. I personally like imperfections like that. A perfectly banded snake, I'm not too in the hots for. Having breaks like this, I think, gives the animal more character. It gives the animal some leeway to express the Tristripe in different ways. Maybe, maybe in certain Tristripe combinations, or maybe in different Tristripe lines, maybe the pinstripe lines running parallel to the dorsal, maybe those can be broken up too as well. So giving the gene some leeway on how it expresses itself and not being concrete about it being one solid line, I think is great, right? Because it really, like I said, gives the gene different ways for it to express itself. This is a plain Jane Tristripe, no additional genes. It looks pretty darn cool. So moving on, this here is a Tristripe Mojave. Mojave, I've talked about a bit about Mojave in Monsoon. Mojave in Monsoon brings out color and it brings up pattern. Does the same thing here. This particular animal, the dorsal band is incomplete from the head to the tail. However, it has a nice midsection that lets you know that this is a tristripe. I like the pattern. You can tell right away it's a tristripe. The alien, the two parallel pinstripe lines are very nice. The Mojave is giving it that nice creamy color. Overall, beautiful combination. However, you gotta be very careful. For whatever reason, Mojave tends to find its way into these recessive projects. I wouldn't really want to get into Mojave with when your gene pool isn't very big, because you tend to breed Mojave tristripe to say Mojave het tristripe, hoping to God you don't hit a super Mojave, because that'll be an all-white snake and then you won't know what you have on your hands. So I think this particular animal looks pretty cool. I would definitely keep this animal as a female. As a male, I'd be a little more cautious, and I would be very cautious if this was a male as an intended holdback to breed this to anything else in the belt complex. Right, yellow belly is very big. I think Mojave and Mojave and yellow belly I don't think interact. I think yellow belly is in the black leucistics, and Mojave is in the blue-eyed. Sorry about that. But yeah, Mojave will interact with other bell complex genes, so be very careful with that. Moving on, this is a Tristripe Pastel. Pastel gets a bad rap of muddying out snakes. I think that when a mature pastel that transfers from a vibrant pastel color to its adult coloration of a darker brown, I think that's perfectly fine as long as contrast is maintained. Contrast being the main key point in many combinations. I really like pastel here. I think would be perfect because the tri-stripe, I personally think, really tends to throw really dark blacks at you. From its dorsal stripe to the pinstripe lines down the sides, it throws very dark blacks at you. Pastel here has not blushed it out at all. And that's what I love about it. No blushing, so the blushing won't brown out. The black is going to stay pitch black, and the pastel will brown out. Of course, you're going to end up with a brown and black snake. However, that doesn't mean it's going to look bad. I personally think that it's going to be a lighter brown compared to other tri-stripes, and it will still look pretty darn amazing. This animal in particular is a great example of tri-stripe. An almost perfect band down the back with some nice imperfections in there. Really nice pinstripe dorsal that run around the dorsal. This particular animal looks pretty darn good. You might not like pastel, however, you have to agree that this particular animal looks pretty darn cool. Next up is the Tristripe Banana. I personally love Banana as a bellwether on how like Albino will look. It's a single gene that really throws a wrench into coloration and it not being recessive. Banana has extreme amounts of power in that, and I really like the Tristripe Banana. This particular example of Tristripe is almost pristine, an almost solid line running down the back, super nice pinstripe dorsal stripes, really nice coloration yellow. Of course, it's gonna brown out with age. However, what I'm really interested in is, like I keep saying this again and again with Banana, I love the dots that come from it, the black dots that the Banana gene develops. If you have like these really nice dark dots on the dorsal stripe of this animal, just on the dorsal stripe, maybe some on those pinstripe lines. I think that will give the Tristripe like another dimension of, you know, of appeal. Simply because you'll have, maybe when this animal matures, of course it's going to lose a lot of its lavender and lemony yellows and vibrant coloration. It's going to drab out and brown out a lot. However, the pitch black dots that the banana produces will still remain pitch black, and it's going to be running on that really nice clean dorsal. So I think that's very interesting. I'm really into high dot bananas. Maybe if I see something interesting available, maybe I'll pick it up. I just love them, and I think that banana actually has pretty good potential in the Tristripe project. It looks good. So next up is a Tristripe Albino. This is one of those double recessive animals, very hard to hit, and probably Albino was probably one of the first recessives mixed with any other recessives on the market, simply because Albino has been around for a lot longer. So the moment another recessive cropped up, they immediately paired Albino to it because it's just so available. And this actually looks pretty darn cool. Of course, this particular animal doesn't have those pinstripe lines down the back. However, it has a really nice white dorsal stripe. It inverted the color. That is sick. There is, you know, it just looks awesome, you know. Of course, you can say that you can probably get the same looking type of animal with, say, a genetic stripe or super stripe animal. Maybe you're able to produce the same looking animal as this. However, I think the Tristripe gives you the potential of producing, like I said, those pinstripes that run parallel to the dorsal. I think that's where Tristripe really stands out from that. Of course, this particular animal really doesn't have that, and that might be just simply because of the line of Tristripe it has. However, this animal looks pretty darn cool, right? Next up is a Tristripe Desert Ghost Pastel. In this particular animal, the pinstripe lines were sacrificed, for most of the animal. The first 1/3 from the head looks like it still has that nice stripe, but it looks like it gets dissolved and then it just fades out into one solid band. This animal looks pretty darn cool. Like I said, anything Desert Ghost touches immediately turns into gold. The coloration here is awesome. The pastel, thanks to the Desert Ghost, has added blush to the dorsal. That I might have a little gripe with if it didn't have Desert Ghost. Desert Ghost hopefully will keep that blush nice, vibrant, and yellow, as will the entire coloration of the animal. If the pastel had enough juice in it to provide blushing like this and provide this type of color without Desert Ghost, I would be a little worried, simply because that dorsal will probably turn drab brown. That's what happens when you get a really nice looking blushed out snake from a hatchling to an adult. It goes from a really nice blush to a darker, to a little darker drab brown, right? I really like the Tristripe project because it provides those really ink black stripes, and Pastel here looks like it takes away from that. But Desert Ghost might be able to maintain this type of glory into adulthood. So cross my fingers for that. Of course, this animal looks spectacular. Desert Ghost and Pastel is a killer combination. You can add it to almost any gene and it will still kick butt, right? So this animal is still perfect. Next up is a Tristripe Desert Ghost Super Pastel. Like I said, pastel blushing on the dorsal. Super Pastel will blush out your dorsals and most blacks. Here, I would almost think if you were to omit, just, you know, put some tape on the head of this animal, I would immediately say Desert Ghost Clown. you know, desert ghost, clown, leopard, or something. This has the body coloration and pattern of a clown. This is crazy. It looks like the Pastel really got into, really try to bring out some pattern. However, the Tristripe really try to keep its three main stripes present. It's the battle of genes, you know, and they just mesh together really well. This is a very nice result. Of course, I really do not like that the very nice dark band got almost almost like they took an eraser just to the dorsal, you know. However, the Desert Ghost is powerful enough. I'm confident in the gene enough for me to know that this animal will look amazing into adulthood. A lot of these yellows will not muddy out, but they will turn almost a white hot. They're not going to white out and blanch out. They're going to turn into like a very high yellow, like when you pull iron from a furnace, you know, the very vibrant yellow. I think the exact same is going to happen here. Coloration is not going to drop out. The blacks are going to stay just as ink black, or maybe a little, the wolf maybe fade out a little bit. This animal will look absolutely gorgeous into adulthood. I can almost guarantee it, just simply because it has Desert Ghost in it. So this is the last snake I really wanted to talk about. This is the Blade Clown Tristripe. I love clowns. Clowns are my jam. They're, I think, the perfect combo makers. They are the key ingredient to a haymaker of a combination. It is almost always better to have clown than not have it. That's what I believe. Try to prove me wrong. So Blade is a gene I'm not very fond of. Blade by itself really reduces the animal. During the clown game, when it first came out, clown as a genetic, it was all about low pattern animals. I do not like that. I like high pattern animals, right? I like ornate patterns. That's why I like the monsoon. That's why I like pinstripe. I like ornate. I like more pattern. I like jumbled up pattern, right? That's what I really, really like. That's why I like confusion. That's why I like leopard. I like these jumbled up patterns. This takes away from that. Blade does. So Tristripe being a gene that really reduces pattern but gives a very signature, nice characteristic. Blade, I'm not too sure of adding, because it, as you can see here, it stripped out the parallel pinstripe lines. I really don't like that. I want to see those lines to some level, even from the neck, usually where a lot of these lines originate and still are present in a lot of combinations. Even in the neck here in this combination, it's gone. Tristripe here doesn't add anything to clown. Clown doesn't add anything to Tristripe. There I go, contradicting myself. However, it looks like a Blade Clown does not add anything to Tristripe, and Tristripe really doesn't help the Blade Clown at all. You can make a very similar looking animal with a clown, with basically a spider clown. Don't like spider. However, you can make an animal that almost looks like this. Of course, it's gonna have a thinner line down the back. A spider clown, right? Recessive and one gene. Or you can get a super blade to a super blade clown. I'll probably look a lot like this. There is no excitement here, unfortunately. Tristripe and clown look like they really won't mesh together very well from just this combination. Of course, I might be wrong, and I might be eating my words later, and it might be the combination of the century. However, from this picture, I'm not excited about it at all, right? So this has been the Tristripe, and a recessive gene that needs to be worked a lot more. Like the monsoon, for whatever reason, well, the monsoon is because it's more new. However, with the Tristripe, it needs a little bit more love. It needs a little bit more genes put into it, and it needs to be fiddled around a little more. It needs some love. You never know what's under the engine unless you get into the car, right? You need to be able to really know how the Tristripe works, and really, I think it's an amazing looking animal when mixed with Desert Ghost. How will it look with Hypo? How will it look with Monarch, Ultra Male, those type of genes? How will it look with other recessives, right? I think Tristripe has a great potential to give a really nice looking clean snake with nice patterning. It's just that for whatever reason it hasn't been played around with a lot, right? So that ends the talk of Tristripe. And just for as of filming this video, Tristripe is not a cheap project to get into, right? I'm not going to say that a Tristripe is going to be going for $100 like a Hypo. No, these guys command money, okay? I think I saw a morph market a visual recessive, homozygous recessive Tristripe for $1,500. That is a high asking price to get into this recessive project. So you know that there is some money there. Maybe it'll work as an incentive for breeders to pick up the project a little faster, to work in things faster. So there is some value there, and honestly, it's great looking gene. From all the animals I've shown off today, Tristripe I think really does deserve a place in most people's collection. Alright guys, so this has been the Tristripe. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, comment down below, maybe on a suggestion for future videos. As always, thanks for coming by and checking me out. And as always, thanks for visiting. I'll see you guys in the next one.